What's up, YouTube? You're Inside the Edge, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to do a small commentary on Devin Booker. There's a lot of NBA news circling, and if you guys haven't heard, Devin Booker is finalizing a 4-year deal worth $214 million Supermax contract extension with the Phoenix Suns. This was something that had to happen. Regarding Deandre Ayton and Devin Booker, of course they was going to give the money to Devin Booker. He's held down this franchise for so long. He came into this franchise when, they weren't even mentioned. They weren't even a playoff team. And fast forward years later, looking at what they've done, and them being in the finals last year, shout out to Monty Williams. He's doing a tremendous job. And it looks like when James Jones became general manager, that's when everything started turning for this Phoenix Suns team. And, throughout time, they just became explosive. And, this team can compete. So looking at the contract, I guess long term, I don't think the 214 will hurt this franchise moving forward, just because. Just kind of looking at the Suns team now, I don't think they need a lot more pieces to build off of. Right now, I still think that they're playoff contenders, maybe just a few pieces, and just knowing what's going to happen with Deandre Ayton. We can talk about possibly a finals, reunion, but, this team is not far off from a championship. So, some teams, maybe you could say this in football, when quarterbacks get paid the highest, it usually affects teams, budget and cap, where maybe they can't, maybe the organization can't get enough offensive wide receivers for the quarterback, or maybe, the team can't strengthen their defense because they gave so much money to their quarterback. But I don't see it in this case with the Suns. I don't think this hit is going to take a hit on them because, looking at for what they have already, I don't think that this Suns team needs a whole lot more in order to compete. I think that they're good with where they're at. But, looking at, this Phoenix team, just seeing what Chris Paul has done when he first came here, and then obviously getting, Bridges, Cameron Johnson from Kentucky, he's going to blossom to be a really good player. My only question mark is, what is the Phoenix Suns going to do with the big situation? Because if DeAndre Ayton decides to leave, or if he gets traded, we're looking at JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. So I don't know if the Suns are willing to keep those two players, but that's just going to be a question mark. But other than that, man, Devin Booker, this is well deserved. He's been a superstar he's been a star. I would consider him a superstar. I think that's a big word to use nowadays because, everyone is starting to just throw that word around, but I would consider him a superstar. I consider him a franchise player. But the biggest argument with Devin Booker is, can he lead his team to a championship by himself? The argument is when he was by himself, they weren't a winning team. They weren't a 500 team. But when Chris Paul came in, this team just excelled at a high level. And you can use that argument, but I think Devin Booker, I think he's a superstar. And for the Suns to lock him in for the next 5 years, his next prime years, I think is going to be the catalyst to the success of this team moving forward. The ball has to be in Devin Booker's hands, moving forward, because he's a sharpshooter. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He can drive. He can make good plays. And, he can, play a little bit of point, facilitate, get guys involved as well. So, this was a huge contract, and this was a huge step up for the Phoenix Suns. And I don't think that they're far off from a championship. So we're just going to have to just see what happens with DeAndre Ayton and just see how are they going to orchestrate a little bit more pieces into this offense, maybe get another wing player. I think that could really be big for the Suns team. But with that being said, guys, I want to hear your guys' opinion. And, make sure, you guys drop a comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, guys. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.